From the bottom, I'm up now, got about the checks. We taking them flights now, and we cutting checks. Better word in my sights now, haters watch me flex. We hit they necks, lock 'em up, full court press, lock 'em up. Lock 'em down.
Welcome to Outside the Ring. I'm here with my guest, the natural born killer, Trevor Straud.
Beautiful. That was awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, man. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I'm a huge fan of what you do. I love your work, and I'm excited to do this with you, man.
So, how'd you come up with your ring name, Trevor Straud?
Funny story, and it's actually one I like to tell a lot. So I was just kind of like spitballing new ideas, going from one persona to another. And I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a specific campaign in Dungeons and Dragons called The Curse of Strahd, but it's Strahd. So I just kind of took the H and changed it to a U. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then Trevor, it was the first name I could think of that sounded cool with the last name. And I was like, yeah, I said it out loud, and I was like, sweet, that works.
It's still working today.
Yeah, so far. And then my buddy, the TS logo I use, he designed it when I first did the name change, and I've stuck with it ever since. So, and I was like, well, now I can't because it just looks cool.
How'd you come up with your moniker, the natural born killer?
So this one's also kind of changed and formed over the years, but up at IWE, I was asked the same. They asked me what my moniker was, my my title, and I was like, I hadn't thought about this yet. And I literally, it was just off the top of my head. I was like, what? Because I was a heel at the time. I was like, what sounds like it could be like edgy? And I was like, the natural born killer. I've never killed a person in my life, but it sounds good. And he goes, all right, cool. So he wrote it down and on commentary, and ring announcer put it over, and I was like, yeah, it's got a nice ring to it.
So how long you been wrestling for?
So as of this May, I've been officially in the business for 6 years. I tend to say, I kind of go back and forth with, I kind of broke in when COVID locked everything down. Mm-hmm. So really, it's been 6 years, but effectively active 3-ish because of post-lockdown stuff.
Right. When or how did you know that you officially wanted to kind of step foot in a wrestling ring?
Man, great questions, because these are all stories I just enjoy telling. So obviously, like everyone that likes wrestling, grew up liking wrestling, or you're growing up liking wrestling right now. And I fell out of love with it. And then I was working at GameStop, and then we sold the WWE Network cards. This was 2018 ish. And I was like, what the heck? So I got one, watched the Royal Rumble that year, and I was like, oh my God, this is really sweet. And my kids were watching it too, and they were a lot younger at the time. So I was like, okay. A couple months go by, and we're doing interviews at the store, and my friend Dennis wrestles, pseudo-retired, but Victor Cross, he came in for an interview. I was like, oh yeah, what do you like to do in your free time? And he was like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. And I was like, huh? Because I didn't know an indie scene was a thing. I didn't have a lot of knowledge like that. And so, and you can ask anyone involved in this interview. I took because I was the assistant store manager, and then I had my store manager with me. I set the clipboard down, and I was like, this interview's over. We're going to hire him, but I have more questions. So I completely forewent the interview, and I was like, how do you do that? I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. So he gave me the information about getting trained, and then so on and so forth. And so it was really that interaction that made me go, holy shit, I can do this, which led me to look for schools, which then I was like, I didn't even know this existed. So my knowledge of the indie scene started exactly when I decided to train.
Who were some of your favorite wrestlers to kind of watch? Whether that be when you were first breaking in, currently.
So I like to think about this as like the people on TV and like the people on this, on our level here.
Right.
But like on TV, before I got like into the business, it was like people like, I liked people that could talk a lot. So like The Rock could really like captivate you, like Stone Cold, people like that. But then when I got into the business and really understood it a little more, people that make things feel real are like my favorites. Eddie Kingston, MJF,
Hmm.
Cody Rhodes to an extent, without the like, he can get real emotional and raw. And then like when I broke into the indie scene, there was guys like I was watching, oh God, John Campbell, people like Zach Thomas, Dread King Logan. Those were guys I could look at and go, holy shit, these guys kind of look like me. And if they're doing crazy shit like that, I could do stuff like that or crazy stuff. I'm sorry, I should have
Oh no,
asked beforehand. Um,
you won't be the first
but
one, so
yeah, I figured, but I still want to be courteous.
right.
But yeah, so like I said, MJF, Eddie Kingston. I grew up loving the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff both. And then again, yeah, anyone that can make me feel like what they're saying and doing is real. And my favorite changes like every week. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Like I have two set favorites, and then we can figure the rest out.
Yeah, who are your favorites?
Undertaker and Jeff Hardy are my top two.
Perfect. Perfect picks.
Because I found out about the indies before I found out about pro.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's fun.
So the first match I seen, like WWE, was a match on YouTube that they uploaded.
Yeah.
2002, the Undertaker Jeff Hardy ladder match.
Yes. And you were
Mhm.
attached the whole time, glued to the
Oh.
screen,
Hmm.
right? And it's, you know what, man, it's funny you bring up Undertaker. Sorry, I picked up my kids from school today
Hmm.
and they were telling their friends that they were Googling me on their phone. But then right after they Googled me, they were like, on YouTube and they saw a link for an Undertaker match and they had never seen the Undertaker before. Mind you, they're 11 and 10.
Hmm.
And they spent the whole car ride home just exclaiming how cool the Undertaker's entrances were. And I was like, got him.
How does it feel to be able to work with people that have been in the business for a bit, like Sean Tyler? You were in the ring with DBA for that weapons, for fans being the weapons match against Sean, and then also be able to help people that are upcoming in the business.
Man, I always like to say that I really thrive in the matches and the settings where I get to learn something.
Right.
And I've honestly been pretty, I'll use the word blessed and lucky to be able to share the ring with the people that I've shared the ring with so far. You mentioned that fans bring the weapons match with Sean, which was really like one of my first big, like, you want to say like hardcore matches that, really how hardcore was it? But like, to kind of break into that mold and then even getting, man, when I got like 4 minutes with DBA that night, that was like to be able to share the ring with especially someone like that who's been around for a very long time and who has such high influence in the area. I feel lucky and honored to be able to be trusted to do that. But and then to the second part of that question, to be able to work with young guys and newer guys in the business, I always like to say that if I'm never able to like be in the ring anymore, I would like to still be somewhere around the business. Just, I mean, this is my passion, my love. I want to do this for the rest of my life, but I love being able to, and again, I'm not like the utmost genius in like match structure and stuff like that, but I love being able to talk to like the younger guys and new guys because they come up and ask for advice on X, Y, and Z, or I'll have a match with them, and that's the best time to do it. And they'll come back and say, "Man, that was that was great. It was, they always ask for feedback. There's a lot of great guys coming up right now that are super open to constructive feedback, positive feedback, and it's just so nice to see that they have that mindset. And so I love working with them.
Now looking on the indies, is there anybody that you haven't worked that you think you would want to work or that you would want to work?
Yeah. Oh my God. So again, just like my favorites, this list changes so much, but I've had the pleasure and opportunity to work alongside Effie in a tag match. I would love to be able to work with Effie in a one-on-one setting. Someone like Bear Bronson right now, after he left AEW on his current indie run is insane. I would love to do something with him. And then in that sort of scale, also Alex Kane. He's been someone I've been a huge fan of for a very long time, and like I'm watch all of his stuff. I talk to him every now and then. He's written me training plans and stuff, so like I would love to get in there and make some magic with him.
Now, I want to touch on your time with New Edge.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, you're the current, what they call the Grand Champion.
Yeah, yep.
How does it feel that New Edge and like Sean Tyler and them kind of trust you to hold a title, even though it's not the main one?
So actually, it all it did was go through a name change. It is New Edge's heavyweight championship. He just, I guess he did a name rebrand with it, and so it's the New Edge Grand Championship. And honestly, to have especially to have a promotion trust me with their heavyweight title, it's a huge honor. I mean, like in a second time as well, because I had it the first time, and then I unfortunately broke my hand at the end of last year, which put me out for a little bit. And then we're doing a second reign right now. And like, because that is that promotion saying like, hey, you're the guy. We trust you to do like the big work, the big work. And it's pressure, but it's pressure to say, every match I do is going to be better than the last time I stepped in the ring with this, because that's what I feel like holding a title is. It's, the brand is putting themselves on your back. So it's an immense honor, and anywhere that I am able to earn a shot even at a championship, I greatly appreciate.
Yeah. Pulling a title, shot of the title. That's kind of the company telling you, hey, you've worked so hard, you've earned this. Now go out there and kind of kill it.
Yeah, it's literally like, hey, you've been busting your ass. Here's this. Now continue to bust your ass, because that is almost like they say it all the time when people get belts. The work starts now, and like that is so much more than a phrase, because yeah, you've worked to this point, but now you're almost entering another chapter of that part of your work there. And it's even more important than you coming up.
Absolutely. Now, let's go kind of to CCW. And you were able to work against Freedom Ramsey, who knows a well-known name. He had his time with the WWE kind of ID. What it mean to kind of be able to work with him?
First of all, I love Freedom Ramsey. When I first started at CCW, I did a lot of work with him. We actually were rivals at some point, like, because I was in New Albania and he's the big face of CCW. So I've shared a lot of good ring time with Freedom. And honestly, we've had one of my favorite matches we did was it was the first Survival of the Fittest show in our qualifying match. We had a quick one, but man, fundamentally, it was just so good. And Freedom, I love Freedom. Sometimes he seems a little, what's the word? A little shy. But man, when he gets in the ring and you can really pull it out of him, it's awesome, because man, he is a freaking star, whether he knows it or not. And it's nice to be able to pull that out of someone. And I love working with him. Plus, it's a breeze, man. He fighting Freedom Ramsey is like a night off, man. It's great.
And now, I know I asked you about on the indie level, but if you could face anybody, whether that be on the pro level, like pro level, retired, still doing it,
Mm,
you,
okay, so on it, same as like what I said before. If I got the opportunity to just pick someone, no strings attached, whatever, right now it would be Eddie Kingston. He's like I said, he's the most, and I don't know if people agree with me or not, but literally everything he does, I believe, and like
mhm,
he's real when he talks. I believe he's gonna come up and stab me, like for real. But like, so, but I think being able to share a ring with someone that also has a similar style to me, big guy strike stuff. I mix a little bit more of the flipping and the high flying in, and he's more grounded and technical. But I think being
mhm,
able to share the ring with him would be that would be the dream.
mhm. You say flying. I find it impressive that you're going over in the corner doing moonsaults.
Yeah, man. And you know what? So growing up, I used to go in the backyard of my dad's house, and I would try and backflip off of the back of the garage, like one step up and backflip. And man, it was so many attempts of just hitting the ground, hitting the ground, hitting the ground. I ended up joining gymnastics. So I've always been sort of acrobatic in a sense. But I have to shout out Uncle Chase because we were training, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I can't do this, man. I can only like I can flip off the second rope just fine. And he just looks at me, he's like, no, dummy, do it. Just do it. And I was like, okay. And so I jumped up, like the BME or Tiffany's PME, one, two,
Mhm.
three, and then I just flipped, man. And I was like, huh, that really isn't that bad.
So is that kind of how you decided, okay, this will be my finish?
Yeah, once I started getting comfortable like hitting the flip, because I can land it on my feet, and I can land it, I use it as a finish along with the that kill shot slam.
Hmm.
Um but when I got comfortable and everyone started saying like, no, no, you should do that. Like I'd show them a video like, hey, look what I'm working on, and the next thing out of their mouth was, are you doing it on shows? And I was like, well, not yet. And they're like, you should be, because it's really good. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. And so that's when I was like, okay, people obviously see that that's pretty cool. And so, like, why not? And now I feel like, and I don't mean to like be egotistical about it, but it feels so effortless now.
Hmm. Now, during your time kind of in this world of wrestling, have you met any fans that kind of left an impact on you, whether that be your personal life, your competitive as Trevor?
Yeah, and I'd have to say that there's a lot of people that I see at shows, and I see often at shows that um, there I there's a gentleman that I see that always asks me about my youngest son and his diabetes. Um, there's a group of fans at CCW literally every week that are there day in, day out. No matter what the weather is, they're there. So there's a group of them that are really, um, no, like I said, no matter what, they're there. So they're always
Hmm.
there to watch us perform, and that touches my heart. And then really anytime I get to interact with kids, man, like
Hmm.
getting the kids into it, whether I'm being a face or a heel, getting them to yell or boo or like cheer, and then they come up to you at the merch table and they're like, "You're so cool," and it's like, "Oh, great!" Like that to me is like that's where it's perfect. But yeah, I got a bunch. I've never been asked that question, and I think about that. I'm like, yeah, man, there's a lot of people that I go to shows and I see. I'm like, oh my god, hi, oh my god, hi. So a lot of fans do.
Hmm.
They mean a lot.
Yeah, I think kind of the fans, whether it's fan interaction, or all the fan interactions kind of help the wrestlers in the long run. Because
Yeah.
at a promotion I was just at, someone after after someone won a match, everyone or most of the fans that were there just went up, started cheering with him to the point where they were just running and just following him.
And that's the magic of it, man. That's
Mhm.
that's the stuff we live for.
Have you Trevor Straud been your name kind of your entire time you've been wrestling?
No, so there was this I refer to as the dark times where I wrestled a couple times in like with this I don't even want to name names, but this really just crappy promotion and this dude that thought he trained me. The people that know he's just got it was terrible. But so yeah, I used to wrestle under the name War Child. It was the worst thing in the world, and it had no like sense of self. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like go out there and be adrenaline junkie, and I was like, this is stupid. And then I transferred. That was the only other one. When I killed that character off, I
Mm-hmm.
went to Trevor Straud, and then it's been like that ever since. It's bad, man. It's so bad.
Ugh. Where did you kind of train at?
So, like most people, I did a backyard stint. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't try this at home, but we definitely tried it at home stuff. Um, and then I had a friend that was like, "Hey, I know this guy that can train you for wrestling for like super cheap." And so obviously that was a big red flag. So I did that, and then that led to the War Child thing. But I fortunately through doing that, I met some good friends, and
Mm-hmm.
Solo being one of them. Uh, After that all happened, and like this was like, God, when was this? Sometime early pandemic when it was still like it was like starting to be okay to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hey, I went to House of Truth and did all this," and I was like, "Oh my God, wonderful!" Like, which is now grind time. Um,
Yep.
but at the time, he was like, "Yeah, just reach out to Truth." And I did. I messaged Truth, and we had a very nice conversation. And then I basically retrained there. I did some training at Pure Pro Wrestling with Xavier Justice. Actually, Sean Evans did some training for me there, and then I've done some stuff at New Edge as well. So I officially retrained with House of Truth / Grind Time, and then did some more training at a couple different schools.
Mm-hmm. How was it to be able to work with or train over at House of Truth and pick the mind of Truth, who knows had a history within pro wrestling?
Man, the probably luckiest I've been to be in this business was being able to get literally anyone on one time with him and be under that sort of training wing. There's so many things that Truth has done and said to for me and to me specifically that have like unlocked like almost like secret keys in my head about the business and like how things work. Um, uh, he yeah, he's done so much for me, and like I said, I feel extremely lucky, and still even to this day I can shoot him a message here and there and have a small little conversation, and it's like it's like we never like had stopped talking, because there's space
Mm-hmm.
in between things. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I feel like anyone that could get time with him, whether you're training at the school or you see him at a show, like, man, take that opportunity. He's a genius.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to someone that's either up and coming in the business or wants to start?
So I'll go on both of those fronts. People that are up and coming and that are um, trying to carve their path almost, I would
Mm-hmm.
say keep your in. And this is very much, I hear this a lot, but keep your ears open, have thick skin, and understand that it is a business and is not personal.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to take the advice, being able to learn from it, and be malleable. Don't just think you're one thing and you're going to be that one thing, and it's going to be the thing that makes it, makes you the most important thing, because you're going to meet people and you're going to work with people that will change your perspective of the business
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. For anyone that wants to start, I just have to say, we talked about a bunch of schools on here. Find a good school and then just do it. When I started training, I was 26. I'm 32 now. I have a buddy who's a little bit older than me who always talks about wanting to be a wrestler. I'm just saying, just do it, because you'll never know if you don't try. And you know what? People start and people quit. It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the hardest thing to do is to just step into a school. Once you do that, it becomes a lot easier to just continue, like to start doing it. Sorry, that was a lot of words, but just start. Train.
So where can people catch you at? Like, what are you going to be your next shows you pop up at?
So I am going on a break October 4th, but coming up, I have only a handful. So weekly at CCW this week and next week on Thursdays at the All-Star Sports Center in New Baltimore. I'll be there at 7. New Edge Pro Wrestling on the 26th of September.
Mm-hmm.
That's at the Mothership in Troy. And then the only other two are the 21st. So this upcoming Sunday, I will be at the Dakota Inn for an Oktoberfest show put on in joint with, I think, Sanctuary Fight Club's team. So that'll be fun. And then October 4th is my final match before my break. That is IWE up in Houghton Lake, Michigan, against Bojack.
Oh, the mighty Bojack.
The mighty Bojack. Don't let him know I didn't say that.
If I'm not mistaken, he's their world champion.
He sure is. That's the match we're having. We're challenging him for the World Heavyweight Championship as my last match. And we'll see what happens. Maybe I can leave with it and take it on my break.
Be like CM Punk.
Exactly. It's about to be the fall of Straud.
If you don't want to, we don't have to talk about it. But what's making you kind of want to take a break to step away?
Oh no, I'll talk about it. I'm
Okay.
open and honest, man. I don't care. Just there's some stuff at like in my personal life I want to get right before, because I feel like I hit a stride this year where I think I could take wrestling really to a whole nother level if I really if I can put the full effort into it. But to be able to do that, there's some stuff I have to take care of in my personal life, which hopefully, I mean, I'm not gonna say like a definitive timeline, but I think it's gonna be a shorter break rather than a longer break. It's starting to seem like, but once I get those couple of things knocked out and dealt with, like I'll be back and ready to roll, and then I'm gonna be going as hard as I possibly can. So it's nothing too crazy, but just some small things in my personal life that I want to take care of and get right before Trevor continues to mosey on.
Yeah. I know some people don't like talking about certain things, so that's why I kind of left it open.
No, and you know what? As a person asking the questions, as an interviewer, that is awesome. I give that. I love that you asked me, but I have no issue.
Well, with that being said, it's kind of all I had for you. Thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, man, absolutely. This is sweet. I can't wait to watch it back and share it to everyone, because it was a nice conversation, man. I really appreciate you doing this and being flexible with me, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it. I love what
Sweet.
I do and love learning about everyone. So,
Good, man. Good. That's awesome.
all right, you have a good night.
You too, man.